Oh, have we started? Hi guys, my name is Malcolm.
Sandra, and you're watching The Connect.
Life stories.
Sandra is a wife. Sandra is a daughter. I'm an only child. I don't have any brothers or sisters, but I've got a very large family here who I love and appreciate God for. She's a nurse. She is an entrepreneur. And yeah, that's Sandra.
Malcolm is just, I think, a man with a dream. A small boy who had a dream, and yeah, that's who I am, to summarize everything. Funny enough, today is actually our anniversary. So it's 3 years, a day like this, on a Saturday like this. I was from work, and I had a friend of mine who had a friend of a friend of a friend. So basically, I think it was Halloween. Yeah, it was.
No, it wasn't.
Oh, it wasn't Halloween?
No.
Okay. So basically, he told me there's
It was his birthday party.
yeah, it was his birthday party. So if I can come along, and we come all the way to the west. That time I used to live in the eastern suburbs. So I told him I'll see if I can be able to come, because at that time I had eaten something, and my stomach was not in the right state. So I told him I was 50-50 anyway. So after telling him, okay, after I finished work, I told him, okay, I'm coming. But on my way, my stomach was really giving me a problem. I had to stop over at KFC to go just to use the bathrooms. And then I called him. I told him, look, I don't think I'm going to be able to come, unfortunately. But being the friend he was, like, gee, just come. It's okay. Yeah, kesi badai. Yeah, so I said, okay, let me come. So I drove all the way to western suburbs, and fortunately, she was also living in the same house with her roommate. So she was also coming from work in the was it at night?
Yeah,
at night. And yeah, I just saw her, and I guess
the
that's
rest is history.
the
It's actually very hard to put it into words. But
she made the first move.
no, I didn't. Come on, I did not. Be honest.
No, I'm just joking.
So like he came to the house, and we saw each other, and it was just magical.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you made the first move because well, you asked for my number. We had a very, very many conversations during the night. And it was time for him to go, and he was about to go, and was like, are you not going to ask for my number? But he did, and yeah, we met up. We went on a date maybe 2 weeks after that, or a week after that, and
The rest became history. I'll tell you, life in Melbourne is very fast. It's very fast. So for you to even have that time to go and interact with other people can be quite difficult. So if you're able to find that time and go and meet other people, you're very much blessed. But I would say it's not the easiest. It's not the easiest when it comes to social life here, because everyone's busy. If you're looking for people, most of the people weekends you'll find most of the people are working. So, and maybe that's when you have your free time. So it's very hard to meet people. Yeah.
I think it's actually easy. People are there. You can meet people, but it depends like what kind of people do you want to like meet? Because you're saying a significant other. I think like for you to find someone who like shares the same values as you and like the same beliefs, it's not that easy in Melbourne. For me, it wasn't when I came. So when I met him, it's like God literally was just giving me something that he knew I had prayed for and always wanted. So there's people out there, of course, but what kind of people specifically are you looking for?
Yes, for me it was love at first sight. I was very mesmerized with her. I kept asking my friend, "Who's that? Who's that? Who's that?" And you know, funny thing, I was actually leaving, and that's when she drove in. So I remember I think I blocked I had blocked her
Car,
driveway. Yeah, I
yeah.
blocked her driveway, and
And you had
so
a Mercedes and you're like, oh, don't touch my, don't touch my car.
the lure in me, yeah.
The
So
Jalui.
yeah, but at the back of my mind, I was like, well, this is quite nice, quite a nice scene. So I asked my friend, "Who's this?" And she told me, "Ah, that one, she's tough. Don't just that one is tough. Just let it be, let it be." Now then I was like, no, let me get to know her. So we went back to the house, stayed a little bit more. That time I had to drive an hour back to where I used to stay, but the time didn't mean anything at the time from when I saw her. So yeah, we stayed a little bit, had conversations. I think when it was time to leave, yeah, I took her number, and yeah, I think I didn't text her immediately. I stayed for, I think I did. It was Saturday, so Sunday I didn't say anything. Then Monday, I think evening, I decided, okay, let me text her and let's catch up. And then she sent me a message. What is that? My inconsistency. What did you tell me?
No, that wasn't that. I was just wondering, like, why'd you take my number and you're not calling me, you're not texting me? It's been a day. Well, I mean, maybe I was going crazy. It was just a day, but like, in my head, I was like, oh, I thought he would like check in on me on the following day, but it was like 2 days after. So, but you finally did. You know,
finally
you 2 days later, you did.
Yeah, yeah.
How do I answer this? Like, I don't think that the way people phrase love at first sight is what happened with us. Like, we definitely saw each other and like knew we wanted to be with each other, and the more time we spent together, we knew that, okay, we have to, you know, get married, obviously, because we share so many things. Like, the way we think about life and our ambitions and stuff like that was just,
We just clicked.
yeah,
Everything just
yeah,
flowed.
it just made sense.
Yeah, nothing was forced. Everything, we just went with the flow, and yeah, that's how we're here today. I think it just depends on your preference. There's a lot of things you could do that wouldn't cost you anything. There's a lot of things you could do that will cost you a fortune. So I think it depends on whatever your preference is, but it's very doable, and there's a lot of activities you could do to
Yeah,
sort of
fun stuff like
fun stuff. Yeah.
yeah, even like sporting activities. You know, not just the typical dinner and movie date kind
Yeah,
of things.
yeah.
Yeah, there's so much to do.
Yeah, because the first time we went to a restaurant, then the second time
Parlor.
pancake parlor, yeah, and then I used to go out cycling every weekend, Dandenong Ranges. So it's something I just used to do every Saturday. So I took her there. We had a good time. Unfortunately, was it the first time you fell?
No, not the
Yeah, because it was a really up steep and down really steep course. And yeah, I think one of the dates she fell, and that was it. I've never. It's been, I think, years now.
only
ever
level
since.
ground like riding, not
Yeah, it's been, and that was the end of that hobby. First of all, for someone who's just coming, don't rush. You don't need to be looking for someone to date around. Just you explore yourself and all that. But I would say take your time. Get to know the other person first. Take your time, get to know them, and then just let everything flow. Don't. You see, your Kikuyu has influence. Don't. Yeah, don't rush. That's what I would say. Yeah.
For me, advice for someone who just came in for dating, I would say don't just go out on dates just because you can go out on a date. Like, if you're gonna dating is fun, I get it, but like, do it with someone you see a future with. It's more fun that way. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I can't quite recall how we started, but I always knew I was gonna start a business in Melbourne. So I think one day I just woke up. I used to do kitchen hand, and I had it up to here. I was like, this is not my life. What am I doing with my life? I wake up at five in the morning. I have to be there. Like I'm on my feet for 6 7 hours on my feet and washing dishes, having to deal with how aged care is. And I was like, no, no,
Humble beginnings.
humble beginnings. I was like, I can't. I need to stop this. So on the last day, I think I just decided. I think somewhere inside me, conscience just told me this is your last day. So I went to work as usual, and I had a confrontation with one of the other staff. One of those like someone who like she anyway. I won't even say the story, but yeah. Long story short, I walked out on the shift halfway, and I said that was it. I think I went and told her the next day I'm leaving that job. Yeah, then I told her. So she asked me what's next. I told her this is what I've been wanting to do. No plan, nothing.
You had already been telling me like from the first few days that like we had started like getting to know each other. He was always telling me, oh, he wants to start a business, and all these things. And for me it was just like, okay, how are we going to do this? Because I didn't grow up with someone who's like has run a business in my family or stuff like that, so it was very foreign to me. But once like he kept telling me about like this is the plan, he actually had a plan in place and things to follow. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to support him, he's my husband. So yeah, and that's what I'm supposed to
I
do.
told her I have a plan because I didn't want her to worry, but I didn't have
You
any
didn't
plan.
have a plan.
There was no plan. There was no plan. There was so anyway. From there, we just started discussing. Okay, what do we want to name our business? We already knew what I already knew what I wanted. At least that part I knew. I already knew what industry I wanted to venture into because I've been back home in Kenya. I was already in that industry and I loved it. And I said, this is the path that I want to take. So yeah, we started discussing business names. Then eventually, it started as Salman, was it?
Salma, we combined our names, so we were trying to like figure it out, and we had two options, and we didn't know which one to go with. So we were asking like random people, like, what between these two names, like what's easier to say? So and Malsan was it, because Malcolm Sandra, so we stuck with Malsan Media
Yeah.
Group. Yeah.
So that's how it was formed. First of all, no, it's not. It's not easy. That's the one of the well, the government of Australia really supports new businesses, but it's not easy. It's not a walk in the park. What business we're into? We're into advertising. So basically, we create commercials, TV commercials. We do online marketing. Basically, we're the intermediary between the seller and the buyer. So we put the seller out there and we connect them to the buyers, and basically that's how it works to simplify everything. It's very in depth, but to summarize everything, that's just a tip of what we do. So I think personally what we did, because the industries are very different, the markets are very different compared to back home. So what I did is I started looking into the market in Australia. So once I figured out how it works and basically what licenses I need and all that, that's when I decided with the little money I had, I went and registered the business, and yeah, it's been a ride since then.
Yeah. We're still learning, we're still growing.
Still a learning curve. Yeah.
Yeah, but we are so grateful to God for even, how far He has brought us and how far He's going to take us.
So basically, when we started, you need an ABN because before you do anything, do any transactional business, you need an ABN. So that's how we started. ABN is just basically Australian business number, and you've got your name registered. So you just start on a smaller scale. Then once you start making a certain threshold, 75,000 above, you register for GST, and but to register for GST, you need to register a company. So I think that's the
You
most
need to
yeah.
register a company as well.
Yeah, you need to register a company. But it depends. For our industry, we don't have a lot of licenses that we need. So basically, just register the company,
Yeah, and
get your
ABN.
office, ABN,
Yeah.
yeah, ACN, and all those documents, and then yeah, basically just
That's it.
start trading. Tip number one, when you're starting off, always look for non-furnished offices. Furnished offices usually may look cheap initially when you're starting, but trust me, they always end up being more expensive and they'll cost you a lot because most of them want to lock you in a contract and getting out can be very difficult. Tip number two, when I started off, I had no substantial capital. The money I used to register the company was what I was paid for with my last job that I worked out of doing dishes. So you might feel like you have like you don't have the money and all that, but just use whatever you have. Use the resources that you have, and trust me, things will always work out. You'll always find your way around things. Tip number three: use your human manpower. If you can do things by yourself, always do them first, and then once you start growing, you can always source out for help. Tip number four: make sure you're compliant with the government regulations. Otherwise, if you find yourself on the other side if you find yourself on the wrong side, you end up with a lot of problems, and you don't want that. Tip number five: there's no law that says a student is not allowed to start a business. You're allowed to start your business as long as you're keeping your hours within the speculated, depending on what your visa says. There's no law, no one will stop you to start a business. If at all, it's actually good because you're contributing to the economy. So when it comes to getting your PR, those are some of the things that will get you extra points. I think first of all, labor is very expensive. Labor is very expensive in Melbourne, because if you look at a salary, say a one person, you need to pay the super, you need to pay the tax, there's so many things that you need to pay for, and at the end of the day, if you decide, okay, like we tried freelancing, but then we always had too many issues with freelancers. The cheap, yes, but cheap is expensive. Yeah,
The quality like of the service they
quality of the
provide
work.
is, yeah, it's
Yeah.
not really that good if you're going to go with freelancing. So you have to have like, it's better for you if you have someone who's consistently coming in, like on a maybe daily basis, like a permanent. Yeah, instead of someone who's just like giving their time to other companies and then sometimes they're coming to you, they're not really loyal to you, so they won't give you 100%. Yeah.
Yeah. So one is labor. Two is getting clients. It's not easy to get clients. That's the hardest thing, especially being foreigners in a foreign country. So it's very hard. You really have to be smart about. You need to know a lot of things. You need to be very knowledgeable with whatever you're dealing with, and that way it will sort of cover all the other aspects of people. Usually tend to look at color and all that. People need to trust you before they can give you a job. It doesn't matter how small the job is, but you need to build that trust. So I think that where the challenge comes in is like getting one client can take you a whole month. And that time you've still got your rent, you've still got your upkeep, you still got your salaries to pay and all that. So it's a lot of work that needs to be put in. Yeah.
Yes, I was definitely still working. I'm still working as well. It was more when we started because obviously you have these people on your payroll that you need to pay, and all these other things that that comes with having a business. And so I was working more then, so to be able to like help clear all this other stuff. I wouldn't say no, it wasn't really impacted because I work on casual basis. I'm not a permanent employee, so I choose when I want to work, and so I invest most of my time on my business, and then sometimes I'll pick up
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, definitely we still kept our job. So once I left St. Vincent's, I looked for a casual job, disability. So I worked as a disability support worker. So it's funny because we used to laugh about it. So basically we do the hours, go disability. When we're paid, we pay our salaries to basically we share our salaries with the staff. And then most of it was a lot of challenges because most of the time, of course, you'll find yourself short. We've got our own personal things that we need to do. You find ourselves stuck, and you're like, well, what can you do? You can't take out loans because you don't take out loans to start a business. Yeah, so I think somehow just by the miracle of God, we just sort of managed. We get a client. That client will sort of hold us for a few months.
Yeah.
So that's how basically we just kept surviving, and eventually we just we're still not 100%, but eventually we just found a way of maneuvering. Not going back to wash dishes.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you? I don't know about
For me, I think the motivation of having your own business is like being a boss. You're the one in charge of. You could be sleeping and you're making money. You're the one in charge of your own time. When it's the other way around, your time is never yours. You're always working for someone else, which is not a bad thing. But your time is never yours, to be honest. But when when you have a successful business,
you have a lot of free time to yourself.
yeah,
You don't have to necessarily.
You do the things you love.
Yeah, and you don't necessarily. If I have to wake up early, I don't feel like I'm actually going to work. It's something I love doing, and it's natural. I'm doing what I love, and it's good. Yeah. When we started, it's still very tough.
Still.
Very tough, because I tend to just I spend. If I see something, if I see a desktop we probably don't even need, I'll just go ahead and buy it. So in terms of finances, it's very 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 delicate.
Yeah, and I'm always like, do we really need that?
Like, yes,
because
we need it. Yes, we need it.
Because in his head, he's like, okay, we need it for like someone who's gonna contribute to the company. But in my head, I'm like, maybe not yet.
Yeah. So it's a lot of challenges. So I think how we manage to sort of distribute the workload is she handles the finances and all that. My work is to run the business and to get clients and to make sure. So hers is HR and finance. I do the business development, and so I'll go out and get clients and basically run the business. So it gets to a level where you have to understand each other and sort of just come to an agreement of how we're doing things. And all. We still have arguments. There are things I do she doesn't agree with, the things she wants me to do, and it's a fine balance, I guess. Yeah.
I think especially at first it was very hard because he had the vision. He knows how it's going to be. I couldn't see that. I was trusting him, to like start this whole new business. Like, I don't even know what comes with that. So that was the hard part for me when we started. But now I think we've gotten to a point where, you know what, like I know what we are capable of and what we're doing. And we always remember that we're both working towards like the same goal. What? Maybe lately it's like his phone is just blowing up all the time, and I'm like, okay, you have a business phone, you're going to have a phone for specifically for me, I have wife phone because it's getting harder and harder to get through to him. He's always on the phone talking to someone else when I call him. Like, it shouldn't be that hard. Yes. So that's what we're fighting about more lately. But before, I think it was kind of almost everything, because you're both having very different ways of how you think this should work, and you're both trying to make it work. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I didn't even realize that my time is being taken up. Like the more you grow, the more busy you become, and you don't even realize it because you just sucked into it. And if you're not careful, like your life will end up sort of the business will take over your life, and that's not what we want. That's the same thing as working in the kitchen. The, the
That's
life
what you're
takes
running
you.
away from.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to run away from. So I think it's a balance, and yeah, that's one of the things we fight about. I like the fact that she's let me handle the business in terms of like if I know business development is like taking the business to the next level and just making sure we're heading the right direction. So she just sat back and said, okay, I trust you, just you do what you have to do, and I think it's worked well.
We try do just simple stuff like we'll have a picnic at the backyard. You know, yeah, we'll stay up like late and just watch the stars or something. Like very small things just to kind of like remind us why we even started this thing. Yeah. What else do we do?
I think we lately we've tried to sort of come up with a list of the things we want to do and make
Yeah.
sure on weekends we're free on the weekends and we just do things that we love, travel,
Go
bit
for a
more,
drive.
go for a drive.
Yeah,
you know.
we take the dogs to the beach.
Yeah, yeah.
Just small family stuff that really connects us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think basically it's due diligence. Once if you have your due diligence right, you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong. And what really makes us unique, it's always a learning curve. Because when we started out with the clients giving out contracts and all that, we sort of realized people don't like that here. People don't like being tied down to 6 months and 8 months one contract. So we basically stimulated a strategy that we don't offer any locked-in contracts. Basically, if you wanna leave, and just give us a week's notice, 2 weeks notice, whatever how long depends on how much the contract is about and how long it goes for. And I think it works well. There's that trust at least, and there's that pressure on us as well to make sure that we do our job well, because so that we can keep the client. So it's just something that flows, and we build a very good relationship with our clients.
Yeah, that's what I actually wanted to say. Like something else that is helping us to grow our business is making sure the client is always getting what they want. Like our service is exceptionally good. Like we try and make it very good for the client so that they feel like, okay, you know what, I'm paying this money, I'm gonna get what I want, and we make sure that they get that. Even if, you know, we'll literally go out of our way to make sure that they're happy. You know, if we for example, if you're creating a website for them, we'll keep sending out drafts like, what do you think about this, do you like this, would you like for us to change, you know, like stuff like that. It goes a long way because we build that trust, and they'll always come back to us. Yeah, and communication as well. Like we always we send out emails like all the time, just letting them know of the progress of what's going on. And yeah, I think those are the very most important things that we're doing, and they're working out for us.
Yeah. The other thing is have a plan. Just always have a plan with whatever you do. Have a plan. Don't take out loans for starting a business. You don't need loans to start a business. What you need, the loans, you can use them for growing the business, but initially when you're starting, it's not a guarantee. It's not a guarantee, sorry. And anyway, no one will look at you twice even. A startup coming to get a loan is almost impossible unless you have family and friends who are willing to chip in. I would say save up. Save up is usually the best way. That way, and don't involve too many people, because when you're starting a business, it's not a guarantee. So when you use people's money and then the business doesn't work out, you've burnt bridges, and that's the number one thing you never want to do. Yeah, I think have a plan, no loans, just consistency. Consistency is always very, very important. Actually, you don't want to be seen doing too many things at the same time. Stick to one thing and go for it. Just stick to it. Let people know you for what you do, you know, and not other. Like, you need someone like a broker. A broker will do anything, literally. If you want a car, he'll get you a car. If you want a house, he'll get you a house. If you want, that's the thing. That just have a consistency and stick to it. Don't rush to hire quickly. Take your time. If even if it's expensive, you'd rather pay that person whatever they're asking for, as long as they do a good job. That way you have no problems. Yes, you need to be patient with the employees. Your employees are not your friends. They're there to work. Make sure the work is done correctly, and make sure you follow up on the business. It's not just a matter of employing people and then leaving them to run the business. They'll run it down. You need to be there constantly monitoring and just encouraging them, and yeah.
I think having a good team is very important, because it's just easier. It works out in everyone's favor because it's easier. Everyone understands each other. Everyone's helping each other on the areas where they need help with.
Attitude. I'd pick attitude, because attitude is very important. If you have the attitude towards something and you concentrate on it, the time you'll always you'll manage it well, as long as your attitude is right. I think the possibilities are endless.
I think I'd say time. Yeah, I think attitude is also very good, but I think I would say time because but then if you have a wrong attitude and you have time, okay, I'll take attitude. I think attitude, yeah. What he said is spot on. Yeah, I would say my advice to young people would be learn to know yourself first. Once you've known yourself, trust yourself. And then don't be afraid. Don't dream small, dream big. And if you have something that you really feel in your heart you can achieve, go after it. Like, if it's yours, it's going to be yours. God's going to make sure that it's yours. So make sure you put in the hard work and do what needs to be done. And yeah, you'll one day you'll be living the life you literally never thought you would be living, and you'll just look up and say thank you, God. Yeah.
I think for me is love yourself more. Once you love yourself more, I think everything will just start working out for you. Love yourself more. Give yourself time. Find time to do the things that you really love. And especially one thing that is very hard for young people in this country is mental health. Mental health is something that it's only now that people have started talking about mental health, but people are having a lot of issues, and they don't speak out, they don't reach out to people. And it's most of the time it's because they're so consumed with a lot of things, everything that's happening around them.
And take life easy. Like, don't be too laugh, like have a laugh. Don't take life too seriously. You know, we only have one life, you know, so make sure you surround yourself with people who genuinely care for you, love you, and support you.
Live, laugh, live, love, laugh. I think final remarks. I would just like to encourage whoever's watching this. And nothing is impossible. Whatever you put your mind to, you can always achieve it. We started off fairly, I would say, fairly with nothing. I mean, when I came to Australia, I only had $200 in my pocket, and that was it. I had to as soon as I landed, I had to figure out how I'm going to pay for my school fees, how I'm going to start paying for my rent and food and transport and all those things. So I would say it's not easy. It's doable. Yes, it's doable as long as you have the drive and you have the motivation and you concentrate on one thing and make sure you stick to it and basically just stick to it and perfect on it. When we started the business, we didn't know where we were going. Eventually, it's something that we always knew that we want to be successful in business, and we always knew that we want to be somewhere in life, you know, as entrepreneurs. Yeah, and sort of that's what keeps us keeps us going. From having one employee, basically it was a one-man show. It was just me and her, to having I don't know, more than six people under our name is very motivating, and just once it keeps us going.
Yeah.
And from that, it has also given birth. So basically, we've also ventured into the construction industry, and we are just in the process. We've just been given our certificates to go ahead. So for the students who are interested in construction, we do have programs for interns. So if you feel like you want to learn something, you can always reach out, and we'll see how we can help you.
It's been, we're still on the journey. I wanted to say it's been a long journey, but we are still on the journey. We are still learning very many different things. Yes, and with every learning curve that we're getting, we're making sure that we are taking something from it so that we don't make the same mistake twice. Yes, and I'm grateful to, be right by his side and work together in this business, because I know this has always been his passion from a very long time. So watching him actually build it from the ground up and me being right by his side is it's huge, and I'm thankful for that and grateful for that.
They can reach us, they can apply online. So our website is www.malsanmediagroup.com.au. They can reach me on my social media handles, Malsan Media Group, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn.
Yep.
Yeah.
So social media and the website. That's how you can reach us.
Social media and website. Yeah. We're located in South Melbourne, so South 6A Eastern Road, South Melbourne. If you wanna, feel free. You can always pop in. Feel free to come in.
Yeah. But come by if you have an idea and you want to explore what your options are. Feel free to come by the office. Yeah.
Amazing. Funny fact. Do you want to finish on a funny page or?
Yeah, why not?
Any So who snores at night?
Isn't that obvious? Him.
Thanks for watching. Stay tuned.
Yeah.
Don't touch that dial. Subscribe. Subscribe. Yes.
Like, comment, share.
Like, comment, share.
What else? Turn your notifications on.
Yeah.